I am a steward for an airline company, which means I'm usually traveling all over the globe and barely get to be at home. This one time, though, I got a long break from my job. On my way out the airport terminal, someone tapped me on the shoulder. I didn't recognize them at first, but it was Tim. Not his real name, but Tim was my friend from high school. Honestly, I was surprised that he could still recognize me because it had been years. He even remembered that it was my birthday. Tim offered to throw a party for me. I thought this was too flattering for my liking. He really didn't need to make a fuss, but he was mighty persuasive, and in the end, I just agreed. The next day, he showed up with a van to pick me up. Strangely, he instructed me to blindfold myself. I obliged, covered my eyes, and we were off. I could feel the van moving and the road getting increasingly bumpier. He kept reminding me not to remove the blindfold, saying stuff like, "No peeking please," that sort of stuff. Should have been a red flag for me, but still, I tried to be optimistic. I thought he might take me somewhere fancy and was purposely trying to throw me off. I felt the vehicle start to slow down, and Tim was saying gleefully, "We are here." So I asked if I could take off my blindfold, to which he replied, "No, keep the blindfold on until I take them off." I felt Tim's hands on both my shoulders as he guided me down a path. I could feel my legs being scratched by thick bushes. We were definitely in deep jungle. Finally, Tim took off my blindfold. To my horror, I saw a ritual set up. There was a big slab of rock with ominous markings and candles surrounding. 4 men were sitting on the ground. One of them was chanting. He seemed to be a shaman. I was horrified and beyond pissed at Tim for manipulating me into this. I was instructed to sit on the ground. There was a bowl in front of us. And then the shaman sternly said in this deep, scary voice,
"I ask you all to remain in the circle perimeter no matter what happens. If you ignore my warning, your death is certain. She'll not give us what we want, and then all of this will be a waste of time."
Who is she? I thought. Many things were going through my mind, but I obliged and sat silently. As the ritual started, we all sat down in silence. I could feel a strong gust of wind blowing in our direction. The wind ceases into the typical jungle sound, and then immediately after that, the chirp and chittering of insects stopped and all the trees surrounding us began to shake violently. My heart was pounding. This was completely crazy. But I kept my head down, closed my eyes, did my best to ignore this horrible test. But it just kept getting worse. So many times I wanted to get up and run away from this ritual, but the shaman's earlier warning stuck to my head on what would happen if I left the circle. Then, all of a sudden, everything calm. Could this be the end of this sick ritual? How wrong I was. I wish I had left the circle a long time ago. I looked around, both dreading and expecting the next test, when a creature so demonic looking and horrible started to emerge, clawing its way out of the ground. The wicked creature appeared to be humanoid with long claws, skeleton-like features, dark, hollow eyes. When the demon had fully emerged, it crookedly crawled to one of us. It first approached him and asked him the question,
"What is your wish?"
it uttered in a demonic voice. "I wish to be rich from tomorrow's lottery," Tim muttered. I was shocked at how ridiculous and selfish his request was that I felt like bashing his head in as the creature crawled away from Tim. It headed to the next person and asked a similar question. And then, after the monster moved away, a lottery ticket appeared in Tim's bowl, and then I knew exactly what the bowl's purpose is. The requests from the other men ranged from more money, higher ranking position, and Some more sinister, like wishing the death of his business partner. And then it was my turn. It asked me the same question, and I shook my head violently, refusing to ask for anything from the demon. And then the demon touched and brushed my face with its bony fingers, and I couldn't help it. I began to cry uncontrollably, thinking that this would be my last night. And then I shrieked, "I don't want anything!" Then it slowly retreated from me as I sat paralyzed with fear. And then I knew the ritual was over. As we headed back, I didn't talk to Tim. The whole experience was dumbfounding and honestly the scariest thing that's ever happened to me. After dropping me off home, I didn't want to see Tim ever again after the hellish experience he put me through. Regardless of whether the participants got their wishes or not, one thing is certain: evil is real, and it is out there. And I urge people to be careful not to fall into the trap that I was caught in.